I want to go back to something very quick about what Dr. David Seaman was talking about, that, you know, at 6 you'll know. Well, if it's something acute at the moment, the pain, yeah, sometimes that's true. But I'll tell you right now, not when it comes to chronic conditions. You know, one of the big things I did when I went back to Montreal was to do a case study with a football player named Michael Soles. I mean, all-star, you know, McGill University Athletic Hall of Fame. He was on Canada's version of ESPN as a football analyst during, you know, football games. And has anyone, who has not seen my post on the ALS patient in Canada? Okay. Really? Okay, well, we're not going to do the Facebook thing again, but you know what I want to say. Guys, here is a guy who has, and this is the same thing for him, long-term exposure to the magnosphere for severe chronic conditions that are, you know, what Alan once educated me on calling an orphan disease. There's no solution for them, so, you know, the pharmaceutical industry sort of like gives up and doesn't, you know, invest any resources to try and find a cure. Michael Soles has a slow-moving form of the disease. He's now had it 14 years with ALS, okay? He's not supposed to be alive. So, and I challenged anybody in academia in Montreal, people in neurology, the people at the Montreal Neurological, which is like a world-renowned center, don't even want to talk to me anymore because I made them look stupid. Because they said, I'm not going to bother talking to you, and this is 2.5 years ago, because you don't get better with ALS. If he's in a wheelchair, if he's breathing with the respirator, if both hands are paralyzed, that's it. Doctors told him the same thing after a diving accident, and that's how he, you know, that's how he ended up with his condition. He was in a wheelchair, incontinence problems. I mean, a stack of drugs, over a dozen drugs. He's like drug-free now, doesn't take one pill, and he can ride a bike 3 hours at a time. Michael Soles, the football player, the person with ALS, is the first known person to all of my friends who are in the neurology game in Montreal. He's the first person that they know of that went with ALS from being in a wheelchair to being able to stand and walk, who can now breathe 65% more on his own. And we know that because the respirator keeps data. Patient-induced breaths, okay? And it shows that he's breathing 65% more on his own. And the fact that he can actually use his left hand, well, that's a good indicator that his left hand isn't paralyzed anymore. So just be very, very conscious of the fact that for very chronic conditions, this is a long-term thing. They may need to be in it 30 times, but eventually something could very well happen. Don't give up on people that have chronic diseases, because just like with this guy and with Michael Soles, you could actually make a difference in someone's life. And if you can get someone who's in a wheelchair out of a wheelchair, it changes their whole family situation as well. So that's all I want to say about that. So thanks for listening. Yes?
The gentleman that got up and first walked around in the kitchen, around the island,
No, that Michael Soles, yes.
Okay.
Michael Soles, the football player, yeah. No, I thought you were talking about this guy. But I went from seeing this guy wearing a diaper, I'm sorry to say that, and being in a wheelchair, to being able to bike 3 hours at a time and not taking one drug anymore after they said it was over.